Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Heena Siddiqi show on Canada 1 TV. उम्मीद करते हूँ आप सब लोग खुश होंगे, खैरियत से होंगे, जहाँ पर भी होंगे। आ गए हम आपके सामने एक और एपिसोड लेकर, एक और ख़ास एपिसोड लेकर। एक्चुअली आज का एपिसोड जो है बहुत ख़ास है आप लोगों के लिए, आपकी आई थिंक हमारी कम्युनिटी की बेटरमेंट के लिए और एक ऐसा डिसीजन मेक करने के लिए जिसके लिए हम सब रिस्पॉन्सिबल हैं और कंट्रीब्यूशन चाहिए आप सबका हमारे जो आज हमारा शो है उसके लिए। तो हम क्या करने जा रहे हैं, हम आपको एक ऐसी शख्सियत से मिलाने जा रहे हैं जो बहुत ही एक्टिव मेंबर हैं हमारी कम्युनिटी के और ही इज़ बीन एक्टिव इन द कम्युनिटी फॉर लास्ट 30 years and more sort of not just an active member but also played a great role for the betterment of the community. तो मैं मिलाने जा रही हूँ आपको इमरान हसन से, who's running for the position from Mississauga Ward 5 councillor. He's also a chair for the Appeal Crime Stopper, also vice president at Eden Food Bank, president at Transglobal System of Canada, and also going to share his life experiences from the city of Mississauga, how he lived his life, how he's been the active member of the community, and also what he's bringing to the table for you guys. So let's welcome Imran Hasan to my show. Assalamu alaikum, Imran.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing?
To all your viewers. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Good to see you here today.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, it's a beautiful day outside. And this is the kind of weather we've been waiting for all year. You know, Canada has such a short, summer. So this is exciting to have great weather and be outdoors and just enjoy, this amazing
Beautiful.
time.
I'm enjoying summer as well. And I am more excited when I see a guest who is giving so much back to the community. Also working on a lot of things, not just one particular thing which is kind of creating a difference. So today I will be learning so much from you and I'm looking forward to have this interview.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here. Thank you.
So let's start with your introduction and just a brief introduction for our audience. We all know you, of course, for many years, but for our audience who are not aware about your background and information, please do.
Sure. Well,
share with
I've been a resident of Mississauga for over 30 years, a business owner as well. As you pointed out, the president of Transglobal Systems of Canada, a second-generation family business in the telecom sector.
Wonderful.
I've been volunteering my time in various different organizations. Before I was the chair of PO Crime Stoppers and the vice president at Eden, I've been the chair at the Mississauga Board of Trade for the International Trade Committee, as well as the Growth and Power Committee that focuses on entrepreneurs. I've also contributed my time with the Mississauga Arts Council as a director for several years.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so when I find I've been able to make an impact and I've been able to make a difference, then I change into a different aspect of contributing to my community, as you said, for the betterment of the next generation, really.
Definitely.
We all came here from different parts of the world because we were looking for safety, security, and a better quality of life. But it's not just something that you can inherit. It's something that you have to help contribute towards developing.
Yes.
So,
my question to you now, you have shared so much information and so many kind of establishment which you are part of and have done that, a lot of different, worked at different positions. One thing I want to know that along with the entrepreneurship, what motivates you to participate into, such different organization, being a part of it and then making time for it? How is it working for you?
You know, my father always said that if you want something done, give it to a busy person. And so I've just been that person. I can't sit still.
Okay.
I wake up early in the morning, you know, before the sun rises, and my mind is always, you know, turning about, okay, so what can we do to make this, you know, community we live in better? How can we make it safer? And for me, it's about, you know, of course, you have to have a, you know, a business or,
Right.
You know, a vocation.
Any source of financial
Yes,
yeah,
to be able to
source,
provide
yes.
for your family.
Yes.
But aside from that, you need to set aside time and volunteer and contribute to the betterment of the community. And so I always find opportunities that, you know, or maybe opportunities find me, actually.
Right.
I'll tell you a funny story about
Yeah.
how I became the chair of PO Crime Stoppers.
Definitely.
I was on a board for a security organization, and every year we organize a hockey fundraiser, a tournament. And so I was on the board for many years, and every year the charity was always a Toronto-based charity. And being a Peel boy from Mississauga, I had to ask the question, why don't we raise funds for a Peel charity? They said, no one's ever brought the motion forward.
Wow.
If you would do that, we would consider. So I reached out to Peel Crime Stoppers and said, how would you guys like it if we held a hockey tournament as a fundraiser in benefit
Wow.
of Peel Crime Stoppers? They said, that would be wonderful. So
Okay.
we organized the event, and when the game was all said and done, $10,000 was
When
raised.
was it?
This goes back to 2019. Yes.
Okay.
So, you know, so that was year one. We did the event and handed over the funds to Crime Stoppers, and they said to me, "So, like, who are you?" And I said,
Right.
"Well, I'm a local business owner,
Yes.
as well as I'm on the board for this
So
organization."
basically, you are taking any opportunity as to make something best out of it, and also, you know, what we can bring the best out of it, actually.
You know, there are so many organizations that do such a wonderful job.
Right.
They're volunteer organizations, and
Right.
what they need are resources, and it all starts with funds.
Right.
And you know, the government can only do so much.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we need the community to come together.
come together and
so
start
whether-
contributing.
Yes, so
Right.
whether it's businesses or individuals, when we all collaborate and we
Right.
can, you know, work together, then we can just overcome all of these obstacles.
Right.
And when you hand over $10,000 to an organization like Peel Crime Stoppers,
Right.
who's doing such a wonderful job in the community, keeping our public safe
Right.
by providing these tips through the anonymous tip line,
Right.
so that we can work with the police and the fire and the paramedics to create this resilience and this, you know, safety net in the community. It's just, you know, it's invaluable.
Crime is one of your goal to, you know, work on in Mississauga.
Yes.
As a Ward 5, you know,
Yes.
you go in for counselorship. My question to you is that being working as chair for the Peel Crime Stopper, what do you think are the current challenges and how you going to address them if you get
Excellent question.
Yeah.
So I think people, based on the conversations I've had at the doors, not only with residents in Ward 5,
Yeah.
but the business community, they are sick and tired of having their cars stolen from their driveways. People are having their homes broken into. They're
Yes.
sleeping at night. There's people rummaging around downstairs
We
looking.
never felt this way in history of Canada.
You know, I've been here for
So
a long
unsafe.
time. Yes, I don't want to age myself, but I've been here a
Yes.
long time, and I remember the days where we would not have to lock the front door
Yes.
during the day. We would go away for a, you know, a holiday,
Yes.
and we would tell our neighbors, because we knew who they were, listen, we're going to be gone for a vacation. Here's the key to my house. Would you kindly water my plants, bring in the mail, you know,
Feed our pets.
feed our cat, you know, and those things are. It seemed like a dream,
it is.
because today
It is.
people don't necessarily know the people who live across the street from them, or on either side of them, or behind them, and that's creating silos, and it's creating this disconnect. And I think this is what the criminal elements are preying on, that, you know what, Heena doesn't know her neighbors, so when we come to, you know, stake out her house, if no one's paying attention and Heena's not home, we can
Done.
actually go inside the house, break in, loot the place, and leave, right? And no one knows any different. And by the time Heena comes home, she's like, oh, I have to call the police.
Right.
Police said, well, listen, it's no longer an emergency. The, you know,
Yeah.
crime has already been committed. Yes, we'll send someone to
But it's going
report
to take
it.
time. Of course, you
But
have
it
to
takes
wait.
time.
Yes.
And I understand,
Yeah.
that, the public gets frustrated with
Yes.
that. But the reality is, unless it's an emergency, and you call 911, then the police will react to it immediately. But if it's not an emergency, you call the regular number, they take the report either over the phone or they send someone in to report.
Right.
So, I just think from, hearing from the
From the-
businesses and from the residents about
Yes.
this ongoing crime, we need to tackle it. And through Crime Stoppers, we've been able to, reduce
Right.
or at least respond to
Right.
the crimes that are happening in our community. And I'll give you statistics.
Right.
From 22 to 23,
Right.
from our stats that were provided by Peel Regional Police, the telephone tips went up 10%. Our online tips increased 17%, and arrests were up 100%. That's the effectiveness of the Crime Stoppers program here in Peel, and that's reported to us by Peel Police. So that tells you how the program works and how important it is for the residents and those concerned citizens who live in our community to be able to pick up the phone, call 1-800-222-TIPS, that's the anonymous tip line,
Right.
and report. And remember, when you report through Crime Stoppers,
Right.
you never have to give your name.
Right.
We don't record your caller ID.
Right.
We don't record your IP address.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you never have to testify in court.
Right, definitely. Now, my second question to you is that you're serving as a vice president at Eden Food Bank,
Yes.
right? So, as you already know, and we all are experiencing this, affordability is a big issue. It's a crisis for us,
It
and
is.
that is one of your cause, a priority for the community to bring attention to. So what do you think the situation of the food bank at the moment? What do you think about that? Do you think nowadays we need it more to support our food banks, or what needs to be changed in the community to improve the situation and we can solve this affordability issue?
So before I answer your question,
I have a lot of questions in
Yes.
place, but you kind of elaborated so nice, so
Sure.
I just put it this way.
No, I appreciate that. Before I answer your question, I'm going to go back and tell you in 2018,
Right.
when I ran my third attempt at City Council,
Right.
I decided that we needed to do something to help the food banks. So I organized a small fundraiser where the goal was to invite 100 people
Okay.
who could donate $20 each,
Right.
and we would have a breakfast. And so we did that at a local restaurant in Streetsville.
Nice.
And the goal was to raise just $2,000.
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you that the word got out pretty quickly that Imran Hasan is raising $2,000 for the food bank. I received a phone call from Meridian Credit Union, a local institution,
Yeah.
financial institution in Mississauga. They said, "We'll match your $2,000 if you can
Beautiful.
raise it." Before everything was said and done, we raised $5,100 for the food bank. That was year one. Year two, we doubled it. We raised $12,800. And then
Wow.
COVID hit, of course, as we know.
Yes,
And
yes.
in COVID, 2020, we're like, how are we going to continue this when we have restrictions on gathering?
Right.
So we decided to go to a drive-through model. We raised
Nice.
$33,000. And the story goes on. Last year, we raised over $78,000 at the food bank fundraiser at breakfast time. So these are the kind
Wonderful,
of things
wonderful.
that the food bank needs in order to be able to provide, a dignified meal and sustenance for our members, right? We can't just give them non-perishable food items. We can't just give them beans and lentils and rice.
Right.
Right? We need to be able to give them fresh produce, fruits.
Right.
We need to give them, protein in the form of meat products
Right.
and even dairy products. So
Right.
that is the importance of the food bank. And to answer your question, yes, the demand on food banks has gone out of control.
Yes.
We are seeing families that you would not expect to come to our food bank. People are driving up in their cars and asking for food, and then you probably look at me puzzled, like,
Yeah.
if you have a car,
You
how
can
you
afford
come to a
gas
food-
and everything.
Right?
Yeah, it's
so the reality
insurance
is
and
people are having to make a decision between paying their rent, paying their car payments,
Yes.
putting gas in the car so they
To
can
go
get
to
to
work. Yes.
And at the end of the day, they don't have enough money to be able to pay for their groceries.
Wow.
So they have to swallow their pride. They come to the food bank and they ask for help. And you know what? At the food bank, we have this model of giving people a hand up, not a hand out. Right? So it's very important because Eden Food for Change plays a very integral part in the ecosystem, and it's not something that the government will fund solely.
Right.
So that's why we do the fundraising in the community, so that community is also contributing to the betterment of their neighbors, because you never know whose neighbor might be going hungry.
Definitely, like I am saluting the compassion for the community you have, and we really admire your support for the community for so many years, and we would like to hear you more from you, I would say, but it's time for us to take a short break, and we will be back shortly. You don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to the Heena Siddiqi show on Canada One TV. Today we have a very special guest tonight with us, who is running for position for Mississauga Ward 5 as a councillor. Let's welcome again Imran Hasan to my show. Welcome, Imran.
Good evening.
So how is it so far? My
think
show, my communication with the
fantastic.
audience.
I love it.
I have a lovely audience, and they're really looking into the truth and the clarity from the people. And that's what I always try to bring in my show, that people who are honest and who are actively presenting our community in the system. You're already doing that. And the third priority we're going to talk about is zoning, as you have mentioned earlier. So what it has to do with zoning in Mississauga, and as you're going for Ward 5, so what are the challenges currently people are facing?
So when I say zoning,
Yeah.
I refer to the businesses who are trying to create jobs in the community, who are trying to help, either sell a product or a service, and employ people, and create revenue, so that we can tackle this affordability issue. But if a business has a difficulty, getting a permit or getting the zoning that they need to be able to operate their business, then it becomes problematic. And currently, for a developer to come into the city and create housing, it can take up to 7 years for the application process.
Can you give us an example of it to simplify it for our audience?
Sure. I'll give you an example of a business that called me and said, Imran, we have a school that we need to open in 2 months. When it was COVID, we applied for the application, we renovated the building, and then they rezoned it. So now we have a problem. We're going to open, but we cannot operate because you've changed the zoning. Can you help? And I said, well, let me make a phone call. I contacted the local councillor in that area. I connected them with the business. They went to the Committee of Adjustments. They made an exception, and the business was able to open. So they invited me to the opening ceremony.
So you're already working on it.
Yeah, I'm already doing the work, but it's really, and you shouldn't have to have these kinds of relationships, right? And that's one of the reasons why, I'm running for this position, is because businesses shouldn't have to have a personal relationship with someone
Yes.
who knows someone who
Yes.
can get things done.
Right.
It should just be
Simple for
eliminated.
people.
Simplify the process.
Yes.
I will work with the city staff to simplify the process, to speed up the applications, to make sure that we can get back to businesses with an answer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a yes.
Yes.
If it's a no, the business needs to know
Explanation, yes.
why,
Why.
and it has to know quickly.
Right.
Because they have to make, alternative decisions.
Right, right.
So that's really the focus of the zoning.
Right.
Because we need businesses to succeed, because when businesses succeed, communities thrive.
Definitely. And what do you think about, as you said, that making the community stronger through the, businesses and opportunities? What do you think the opportunities we need to create for the community through these businesses? What do you think where we are lacking at the moment in Mississauga, what people are facing at the moment?
Well, I can speak specifically, if you allow me, about Ward 5, Mississauga,
Yes,
and
definitely.
specifically the community of Malton.
Okay.
So just to give you an idea,
Right.
Ward 5 is the largest ward in the city. It has the largest number of eligible voters, 77,000.
I'm sorry to cut you off for a second, but can you tell us the
Geographic area?
Yes, exactly.
So the geographic area of Ward 5 is vast.
Okay.
On the north, it's 407 Highway.
Okay.
On the east, it's 427 Highway.
Okay.
On the south, it's Eglinton Avenue.
Okay.
And on the west, it's Mavis Road.
Oh,
so you can
okay.
imagine it
Mavis,
encompasses.
Eglinton,
Yes,
and then 407?
and 427.
427,
Yes.
okay.
I mean, it's a massive swath of land,
Right.
which includes the airport,
Okay.
which is a separate conversation
Yes,
altogether.
yes.
And so many industrial and commercial areas,
Yes.
and 2 pockets of residential. One is Malton,
Yes.
which has about, I would say, the lion's share of the population, over 50,000 residents
Wow.
living in Malton, and then you have a pocket of Britannia Woods, which is about 25,000 people.
Okay.
So collectively, over 75,000 people living
In Ward
there.
5?
In Ward 5. And what I'm seeing is, in Malton as a community, it's
Yeah.
underserved. It's been neglected.
Yes, it is.
And I'll tell you
Yes.
2 examples.
And why do you think it's...
I just think because it's sort of remote, it's off to the corner, and
Yes.
really, when you think about it, when people arrive to Canada, they arrive at Pearson International Airport.
Yes.
Pearson International Airport is in Mississauga, in Ward 5. You would think that when you arrive to Pearson International, you're going to get the red carpet treatment.
Yes.
When you come to Malton,
Yeah.
you should see a clean, a vibrant,
Yes.
community, a business area.
Like the other countries are welcoming you in a grand way. Okay, luxury,
Exactly.
surroundings, all the landscaping done, very nice elevated look of the city.
Exactly.
Yes.
And when I drive through Malton,
Yes.
what I hear from
it is
people,
disappointing. See, when I'm coming back to Canada and I
Yes.
just look around after
Yes.
running from it, I'm like, not feeling so happy to see that.
So we need
Yes.
to do something about this.
Yes,
Look,
definitely.
number one,
Yeah.
the residents of Malton
Yeah.
have one grocery store in all of Malton. Does that make any sense to anybody?
I don't
A,
believe it.
There's no competition. B, there's
Yeah.
no variety. Do you know how many different ethnic communities live in Malton? South Asian,
A lot.
Asian, Latino.
With
You've
that
got-
much of population, definitely.
we need
Yes.
more, services in that respect, from a business perspective.
Yes.
And then when you think about safety, do you know that
High crime?
that the community of Malton doesn't have a police detachment?
Wow.
So we have
Unbelievable.
4 detachments in Peel,
Yes.
right? We have one at the airport that's designated for the airport only.
Yes.
But Malton, with a population of 50,000 people, don't you think that we need a police detachment, like a fully operational, full service, with all of the resources there? Why do you think it takes so long for people to respond to emergencies? Why does it take so long for the police to respond to emergencies in Malton? Because they have to drive from either 11 Division, from 12 Division, right, up to
Yes.
Malton, right?
Yes.
Or they're coming from 21 or 22 Division. Either way, it's a 20-minute commute. So therefore, it is understandable why
Right.
the residents and businesses of Malton
Yes,
are
are suffering.
they're not only suffering, but they're frustrated, right?
Yes.
And so we need to think that through. And I will tell you statistically,
Right.
Malton
Right.
and Ward 5
Yeah.
has the highest rate of cars
Crime.
stolen
Yes.
in
yes.
the
I
in
was
the
about to
last
say
12
that.
months.
Yes.
Not just the highest, but 4 times the
More.
average
Yeah,
of
more.
any other ward in
Yes.
Mississauga. That's a stat that somebody has to take a closer look at and prioritize the the police resources
For Ward
that we need
5.
for Ward 5, and specifically there in Malton.
Wow.
And that's the other reason why I feel, I'm the right person for this position.
Definitely.
Because I'm already working with our first responders, our police, our fire, our paramedics through Crime Stoppers. I
Right.
have the relationship with the different organizations within the first responders group, the unions, working with the members, working with the leadership. It's not easy to
Right.
work with these different personalities,
Definitely.
let alone bring them together in
Right.
harmony and introduce them to different stakeholders in the community so we can all build that, level of safety and security that everyone desires and needs. And so, whether it's the business experience that I have of 30 years,
Right.
whether it's my community building experience of bringing people together, whether it's my fundraising experience, helping communities raise funds so that we're not having to, increase taxes, right?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, of course, we all want better, safer communities.
Right.
We want more services,
Right.
but we don't necessarily need to pay more taxes.
Right.
I'm not saying taxes won't increase,
Right.
but at the rate of inflation. But, there's ways and means to, bring communities together and collaborate so we can work together and we can all have a say. Because, the voter turnout in the last municipal election,
Yes.
21.8% citywide. Do you know what the voter turnout was in Ward 5?
Yep.
11%.
Wow, unbelievable.
So
11%.
Almost half of what it was for the entire city. It was half, and yet the population is greater. It's twice the population of Ward 2.
Wow.
So can you imagine the residents of Ward 5, they don't have a voice.
They don't
And
have
when
a
you have
voice.
11% turnout, then you can understand why people are frustrated. And
Definitely.
it's so important, Heena, for your listeners, to your
Yes.
viewers,
Yes.
to your followers,
Yes.
to think about the importance of voting. Because there's so many local services that we receive
Right.
that impact our day-to-day life that people have to think about, why should I vote?
Yes.
And when you vote, then you vote in the people that will help build that community for you, who will prioritize what's important to those taxpayers. And you need someone who has the experience and somebody who's lived in the community, who understands, who the stakeholders are and who the personalities are. And more
Definitely.
importantly, how to get them together and make them play nicely in a sandbox.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I would like to just know that part that you've been in entrepreneurship for 30 years.
Yes.
You have that experience. How that experience will help in your position as a counselor? What knowledge and expertise would you like to add on? And also, what makes you the best person or the best candidate for this position?
From a business perspective,
Yes.
Heena, for 30 years,
Yes.
I've been making business decisions.
Okay.
And I may not always make the right decision, but a
Right.
decision has to be made.
Yes.
And in this case, some of the decisions are evident.
Yes.
It's obvious to me that we need a detachment in Malton.
Yeah.
Why is it that nobody else has made this decision? Is it because they're not capable of prioritizing it, they don't agree with it, or they just don't have the experience to make those decisions? So to me, it's about being able to work in a collaboration with community, with businesses, with nonprofit organizations, and be able to understand the different perspectives and the different priorities and bring them together, put it into a budget, and then figure out what is it that can be done and get back to those stakeholders and let them know what can be done and what can't be done. Because people can handle bad news, right?
Right.
But what they don't like is when you don't share information, right?
Definitely.
And so to me, it's all about transparency.
Right.
It's all about communication. And those are the skill sets that I bring to the table from my business experience. And then obviously from my volunteer service,
Yes.
being on the board for Crime Stoppers as well as the Food Bank.
Bank.
And, in the past, the Board of Trade and even the Arts Council.
Yeah.
It just gives me the awareness and understanding of the different, groups, whether they're seniors, whether they're youth, whether it's, our special needs community, whether it's, our service organizations, schools. I mean, there's
Yes.
just so many people that have a voice that need to be heard that it's important that you have that awareness and that you're open-minded and that you're progressive.
Definitely, I would like to add something onto it, that I would love you to make one more. I would say your priority is bringing something more for early students, like, more for elementary kids, or because the cutoff was, really a lot of cutoff has done so far in terms of education. So improving the situation for the schools, especially the healthy environment, there is not much proper functioning, I would say, electronics at the school, and a lot of number of students as well. I would love you to, bring your voice forward for that cause as well.
So I'm always ready to listen.
Yes.
God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I
Yes.
could listen twice as much as I speak,
Yes.
and advocate for all the right reasons and for all the right priorities.
Yeah.
Some responsibilities may fall into different levels of government,
Right.
and education is clearly an Ontario,
Yes.
provincial level of government. But back to your point,
Yes.
and the examples I provided earlier,
Yes.
being able to work with the different stakeholders in our community, which
Right.
includes our provincial elected officials, our federal elected officials, as well as our local municipal levels of elected officials, because, in Peel Region,
Yeah.
we have 3 communities, right? Mississauga, Brampton, and Caledon.
Right.
And so when you're elected as a Mississauga councillor, you
Yeah.
not only have a voice at the city level,
Right.
but you also have a voice at the region of Peel level.
Beautiful.
And so
That's
to
amazing.
have those, relationships and
Yes.
be able to, work with those different personalities,
Yes.
it takes a little bit of charm, right?
Yes.
And I think I have that experience as well
Yes.
over time,
Yes.
doing, all of that community service,
Yes.
that you meet and be able to figure out how to work with these different personalities.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time. Any final message for our audience now?
The election is coming on June the 10th, and I encourage everyone to look at the ballot and take a closer look at the individuals who are running. We have great people who want to serve the community, but check out their profile. Go to my website, if you will, to imranhasan.ca, or follow me on social media, Imran Hasan YYZ, on all platforms. And you'll see my video as to why I'm running. You'll see some of the background that Heena referred to of my community service, as well as my professional bio. And you'll see that I am the best qualified individual for this position, and I will get to work on day one. So please remember to vote. The advanced polls are open on the 2nd and 3rd, and election day is June 2nd and 3rd, and
Yeah.
the election is June 10th. So please get out and vote, and know that your voice matters.
Thank you so much, Imran. And once again, it was a wonderful time and information you have shared with our audience. And I really appreciate your contribution for the community, and feeling great about that today we have explored all the areas where we need to work, and we need to bring our face forward for the community and take a lead. So thank you so much once again for doing all the work for the community, and I wish you good luck for your campaign.
Thank you very much, Heena, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. तो ये थे हमारे साथ इमरान हसन, एंड ही इज रनिंग फॉर मिसिसागा वार्ड 5 काउंसलर. अब क्या बचता है, क्या डिसीजन मेक करने वाले हैं आप? ये आपके ऊपर एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है. इट्स अ ह्यूज रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू मेक द राइट डिसीजन. मेक श्योर यू डू योर ड्यू एंड डिलिजेंस, you do your homework about the candidate who you are voting for. You have heard about Imran Hasan and what he has done for the community and how he has been serving without this title, without winning any crown in politics. So I believe that people like him are doing a great contribution for the community, and also making an example for all of us that how we can contribute, and it doesn't matter from where you start and how you start and how much you can. Important thing is that you have to make an initiative, be a part of it, whether it's coming to safety, make a call to Crime Stopper, or just doing some volunteer at the food bank, or even just supporting the locals or the local businesses in the community. Well, this is what we have shared with you, and I hope you have got a lot of information about our candidate. And if you need more information, don't forget to reach out Imran Hasan from his website, or also you can contact me as well through my email about the feedback for the show, Heena Siddiqi 007@gmail.com. I'll see you next week with another episode with another wonderful personality. Meanwhile, do take care of yourself. Good night, Shabba Khair, Allah Hafiz. Keep watching Canada One TV.